Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
Washington Post World, September 28, 12:01 America, New York. Biden's moral crisis on the border. Biden promised a more humane departure from the ultranationalism of his predecessor. But many officials and analysts see little change on the ground.
September 28, 7:20 America, New York. Simone Biles says she should have quit way before Tokyo. Four-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles says she should have quit way before Tokyo. September 28, 7:09 America, New York. NATO increases patrols near Kosovo-Serbia border blockage. NATO troops stepped up patrols in Kosovo on Monday near border crossings which have been blocked by local Serbs angered by a ban on cars with Serbian license plates entering the country in a mounting confrontation. September 28, 7 o'clock America, New York. Trump's spiteful support for Abrams over Kemp sparks midterms fear from Georgia Republicans. Opinion: Donald Trump is 100% right about Stacey Abrams.
World CBS News, com. September 28, 7 o'clock America, New York. Biden administration seeks a climate win ahead of global summit. If the U.S. heads to the UN climate change conference with proposals still under debate in Congress, China could balk at making its own changes.
Mirror World News, September 28, 6:46 America, New York. World's loneliest polar bear wanders around village hungry and looking for its mom. The hungry polar bear cub entered the Arctic settlement of Dixon, and it's said to be shocked and confused, as experts fear its mom was shot by poachers.
PowerPost, September 28, 6:43 America, New York. Vulnerable House Democrats say it really better be Infrastructure Week. And General Milley will face lawmakers for the first time since the Afghan withdrawal this morning.
September 28, 6:39 America, New York. These are the best and worst ways to handle your anger, experts say. Someone cut you off as you drove to work. Your boss passed over you for the latest promotion. A close relative with young children refuses to get a COVID-19 vaccine.
RT World News, September 28, 6:37 America, New York. U.S. invented hostage diplomacy, says Beijing. Claims foreigners are safe in China after Spivor and Kovrig release. Beijing has dismissed rumors that Westerners are not safe in China and that they may be used as hostages in future diplomatic disputes, after two Canadians were released as Ottawa dropped charges against Huawei's CFO. New York Times World News, September 28, 6:32 America, New York. A shaman said holy water cured COVID. He died after getting the disease. Eliantha Lindsay White, who was not vaccinated, claimed to be able to cure coronavirus patients using a holy water. Buddhist monks performing the last rites during the funeral of Eliantha Lindsay White at a cemetery in Colombo, Sri Lanka, on Thursday. New York Times World News, September 28, 6:21 America, New York. Dasani's story. 8 years later, we revisit the story of Dasani, a fierce and vulnerable child of New York. Dasani, 20, in Brooklyn this month.
September 28, 6:20 America, New York. Automakers' problems are much worse than we thought. For a year and a half, a lack of computer chips has been plaguing the auto industry, forcing plants to shut down, delaying auto shipments and sending car prices through the roof. September 28, 6:20 America, New York. UEFA forced to drop disciplinary proceedings against remaining Super League clubs. If you thought the idea of a European football Super League was dead and buried, then think again. September 28, 6:19 America, New York. Haiti's unelected leader says he understands U.S. migrant deportations and says elections will be pushed back. Haiti's unelected leader Ariel Henry says he understands why the United States is deporting thousands of Haitian migrants from the Texas border, as he wants to cooperate with America, and will welcome home those who fled the disaster-hit country.
BBC News World, September 28, 6:15 America, New York. Mark Rutte, Dutch PM's security stepped up over gang threat. There are fears that Mark Rutte could be the target of an attack or kidnapping.
RT World News, September 28, 6:13 America, New York. France rejects Malian PM's indecent claim that Paris is abandoning the African nation. France's defense minister, Florence Parly, responded to Malian Prime Minister Choguel Kokala Maiga on Monday, rejecting the African leader's unacceptable claims that Paris is abandoning the Sahel region by withdrawing troops. Washington Post World. September 28, 6:07 America New York. Macron wants Europeans to boost defense, be respected. French President Emmanuel Macron says Europeans must boost their defense plans and make themselves respected, as France opens talks with the United States to try to restore confidence after a submarine dispute led to a major diplomatic crisis. Washington Post World. September 28, 6:02 America New York. Man injured in Beirut port explosion dies, 14 months later. The family of a Lebanese man who was critically injured in last year's massive explosion at Beirut's port say he has died, nearly 14 months after the blast.
September 28, 6:02 America New York. Analysis. Is the sun setting on daylight saving time? What time is it? This seems like a simple enough question. You look at your watch, phone or microwave oven and tell us.
Washington Post World. September 28, 5:58 America New York. #Arab_lives_matter sparks calls for more policing in Israel. Arab citizens of Israel are seeking to raise awareness about the spiraling rate of violent crime in their communities under the hashtag Arab Lives Matter.
Mirror World News. September 28, 5:52 America New York. Crete earthquake Brit fled shaking house in terror as aftershocks rock island. Lucy Semple moved to Crete from Glasgow, Scotland, 5 years ago and says concerned local are worried about further quakes with more than 30 aftershocks reported on Monday.
World CBS News, com. September 28, 5:41 America New York. American siblings back home after 3 years trapped in China. Cynthia and Victor Liu were blocked from leaving the country by an unexplained exit ban, until a Chinese tech executive wanted by the U.S. was released.
Wall Street Journal World News. September 28, 5:39 America New York, behind Israel's swift rollout of COVID-19 vaccine boosters. Israel's public health experts have been consistently ahead of their global counterparts in efforts to fight COVID-19. By securing an early supply deal with Pfizer for its vaccine, they have had an edge in understanding how it behaves in the real world.